Hello and welcome to another Sprues and Brews unboxing. Today we're looking at Kill Team Typhon from Games Workshop. So first I want to say massive thanks to GW for sending us this over early for us to have a look at on the site. In this video we're going to be having a look at the contents, seeing what the new rules are in here. It looks like there's quite a bit of solo play potential for this one too, so really excited. So yeah, this is the latest expansion for Kill Team and it is a big old chunky box. £100 this costs, but you get an awful lot of stuff in here. If we flip this over, you get two new kill teams. So the Battleclade, which is a Servitor based Adeptus Mechanicus force, which looks really cool. Kind of tempted to do them in a kind of a gritty, grimdark kind of scheme. We get the Raveners for the Tyranids, so a super elite kill team. They look really cool models, and I really like the colour scheme that they've done on these guys as well. But you also get some MPOs. So these are kind of game controlled enemies that are used for the kind of solo and co-op play. These are the full multi-part Hormigants, obviously a Ripper Swarm in there, and you also get a load of Tyranid infestation terrain as well. So really good looking set. I'm intrigued to see kind of what MPO kind of stuff we have in here, because if this is like has the potential for like solo play campaigns and stuff, I am all over this, and we'll definitely be filming some to put up hopefully alongside this video going up as well. In the box obviously we get the Typhon dossier with all the rules in there, all the instructions, all the kill team tokens and cards. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one, because when we saw the new edition of Kill Team revealed, the kind of solo and co-op play is one of the things that really appealed to me. So yeah, this certainly suggests that this will be something that's going to be available here. And I love the Raveners. I'm torn on the scheme of the Tyranid stuff, because I've done a lot of Tyranids in an old school scheme, so maybe the old like purple for the Hormigants that we got back in 2nd edition, but I do really like this blue scheme, so if I can adapt that I might have to steal that scheme and yeah, paint them up like that, because I think it looks very cool. So yeah, without further ado, should we crack this open and have a look what is inside? Like I say, big heavy box, £100, I think that's pretty good for the contents of this one, considering the other Kill Team boxes are about £80 off the top of my head. So if we take that out, we see there is an awful lot of plastic inside here. So first things first, if we move that out of the way, we have the new Raveners, and these are very nice. Now these can all be built just as normal Raveners if you do want to use them for 40k, but they've all got their own little operatives, which look very distinct. They've done quite a nice job of kind of calling them out, because I guess that's one of the things with the Tyranids that might have been difficult to do. You haven't got the, you know, different weapons and different equipment, but they've kind of represented that with different, you know, biomorphs that the creatures have got, giving each of the operatives a very distinct look. So really looking forward to building them up, because yeah, that interests me. Really nice looking kits. The old Raveners are a little bit dated now, and I've been meaning to kind of do my Tyranids. I've got some Tyranids that I was painting up since Leviathan came out. I'd started an army in the old kind of 2nd edition colour scheme with some old school models, but I might paint up some of the newer stuff in this new blue and purple scheme, because I think it looks really nice. So yeah, we've got those. We also have, this guy's a returning model. I think he was originally in Blackstone Fortress, but one of the Adeptus Mechanicus leader models. So yeah, really nice model that. We get a couple of sprues of terrain. Now these have been really kind of pushed together here, so I have to be careful not to damage these removing it. Yeah, that's one to watch out for. They are really jammed together. If you're not careful removing them, you're probably going to lose some spikes. But these are very cool. They're very reminiscent of the old Forge World chimneys and stuff that you used to get for the Tyranids. Very nice kit. So it looks like it's this one sprue duplicated to build up the terrain pieces, and the little like egg sacs and stuff. Yeah, I really like these. I'm kind of excited to paint up these Tyranids in the new scheme, give them a new lease of life. So I have to kind of work out how I want to paint those. You do get the new Adeptus Mechanicus Servitor. set as well. These are cool, and presumably these are all going to have rules for 40k as well. So I will paint these and base them to match my existing AdMech force perhaps. But for the Servitors, everything else is kind of Mars red, but for the Servitors I might go something a bit more grimdark and gritty, just to make these guys stand out a bit. And it's a cool thing with Kill Team as well, you can do things independently of your army and just paint up something a little bit different. But yeah, these look nice as well, so looking forward to building them. And then finally you get a sprue of Humagants as well. And again, these are the full multi-part kits that came out alongside Leviathan a couple of years ago. So yeah, very, very cool. A lot of stuff in the box. Obviously that's all the plastic stuff. We take this off here. We have got all the other components as well. So bases for everything in the box. And then in here we should have all the cards. It looks like there's an AdMech transfer sheet. I don't think that's a new one. That is the old one from 2020. And then all the paper components are in this little fold out section here. So if we pop that open. And in here we get everything else. So we've got the instruction manual, we'll have a look at in a little bit. Cards for both the teams we'll have a look at in the second half of the video. Looks like we actually get 3 sets of cards as well. So some of these might be for the missions again. We'll check that in a bit more detail in a little bit. Pop that out of the way here. We get a full combined token sheet. So this is tokens for both of the kill teams here. And again, they're really handy to have. We've got the full Typhon dossier, which we'll have a look at in the second half of the video. But before we jump onto that, looking at the dossier and all the cards and stuff, we'll have a quick look at the instruction manual, just see if there's anything we need to see about these guys. So most of these will have multiple builds. I mean, you can see from the Servitors there's quite a lot of different options there, and again, you're not going to be able to build all of them from one single box. So it's going to be a case of having a look at the kill team kind of layout and seeing how you want to build your kill team. But these are very nice looking. I do quite like those guys. Very, very nice. Lots of different weapons. If these are a decent choice in 40k as well, that'd be a nice way to add some variety to your AdMech forces. But yeah, these are really cool Servitors. At the time of filming I don't know what the rules are for these in 40k. They normally go up after the box is on sale. But yeah, they're really nice. They're very kind of sinister looking. And then we've got the Raveners as well, and again you've got a range of different options there. So yeah, again, take a good look through the instructions and see which variety you want to build before putting them together, because often in Kill Team there's a few kind of different choices of options, and if you just build them blind you might later decide actually you want one of the other builds. Like I say, they can all be built just as a standard warrior as well if you do want to use them for 40k, but even if you were using them for 40k there's no harm in building the kind of operatives. It's just for looks really. But yeah, I really, really like the look of these new Raveners, especially this guy, the Venom Spitter. They're very, very cool. So yeah, only 5 of them, and then all the chimneys and stuff look like they go together fairly quickly. It looks like these chimneys and stuff go on top of the nest, but you don't glue them, so you've got a few different kind of combinations of how they can all go together. Yeah, this is really cool. I kind of want another set of these sprues because I'd love to do a full kind of like Tyranid table. So much better than lots of L-shaped scenery. So yeah, very, very cool. So what we're going to do now is to have a look at the Typhon dossier and all the cards and see how both these kill teams play. So let's take a look at the Kill Team Typhon dossier. So like with the other Kill Team boxes, you do get a full supplement in here with the rules for both of the kill teams. You also get some fun missions as well, and for Typhon you actually get a selection of drink ops so they can be played single player or cooperatively, or with a player controlling the Tyranids as a games master. But essentially they're designed as a single player or two player cooperative missions playing against the game, which is really, really cool. We'll have a look at that in a little bit. You also get a selection of kind of two player versus missions that also have kind of game controlled Tyranids that will attack both teams as well, so that's really, really cool. And like with all the other books, similar kind of format. So we open up with some lore about the two forces here, and we learn that there may have been possibly some Tyranids lurking beneath the planet before the kind of like orbital weapons and stuff were built. Obviously these are horrific lies that the Imperium is quick to stamp out, but yeah, clearly this tech archaeologist and his servitors have come across the Raveners deep within the planet's core, and they're tunneling up, and yeah, the Battleclades are now fighting against the Tyranids while the techno-archaeologist is trying to recover some important data. So like with the books, get all the lore in here. What's nice with this book as well is that you get some nice shots of all of the operatives here. One of the things in some of the previous books that I didn't like is that you get a little half image on the actual profile page, so now it's easy to kind of differentiate the different builds here because you get the full kind of artwork of them, which is good. Again, lots of lore in here and lots of information about the two forces. If you've not played Kill Team before, this is somewhat of a codex of sorts for the two forces in the box. You do kind of get all the background and lore and stuff about them, as well as the rules. So always good for a read through. I am interested to see how this kind of story arc plays out. Obviously in some of the previous ones we've seen some pretty big lore developments as they've gone along. So yeah, I don't know how many we've got left in this season of Kill Team as well. So it's been a good run. Onto the rules though. Obviously we get the rules for both of the forces in the box. The Battleclade Kill Team, which is your servitors, led by a techno-archaeologist and a servitor underseer. So the way this one is made up is you take your techno-archaeologist, your underseer, and then 8 operatives. You can take one of each gun servitor, and obviously you can take multiple combat servitors, the others only being taken once each. So from the stuff in the box you actually get enough to put together quite a few different options there. It's not like some of the ones where you've got to pick and choose. You can literally make one of each of these guys, then get a few spare servitors, and the servitors themselves have a mixture of different weapons as well, so that's really good. Your melter guns are limited to 1 per force, and your flamers limited to 3. Other than that, this is a nice one where you can pretty much build them how you want them, which is really cool to see. They can take infiltration and recon archetypes. And then the way these guys work, their kind of main gimmick for their faction rules is the Noospheric Sphere, their Noospheric Network. And basically what this means is, it's a bit of a wordy one, but basically when you activate one of your operatives, you can choose to transfer power. And what that does, it reduces your APL and gives that to another one of your operatives. So basically you'll pick, say you've got an operative with an APL of 2, you'll reduce that to 1, do a single action with them, and then you'll pick the model that you want to give that free action to, and then that model can do a free action before their kind of normal activation. So it's a really nice way of kind of like diverting things around. What's cool with that as well is you can switch out of like statuses like active and evade as well, based on when you need to. So if you see what your opponent's doing, you might be able to use some of these kind of free activations by transferring power to kind of get in more favourable positions, duck down behind cover, go into a different state. So all really, really cool. Now you can't kind of do that on the same person again, but it gives you a lot of flexibility. And I think this is going to be an interesting one where they work quite differently to a lot of other kill teams just because of their ability to shift around this power. So really, really like that. Strategic ploys, so Noospheric Possession. Whenever a friendly servitor is within 6 inches of an auto proxy or underseer, the friendly servitor's operative's weapons have the accurate 1 rule. Duty of Reclamation. Once per action you can use the command reroll Firefight ploy for 0 CP, which is pretty cool. Incantation of the Iron Soul. Whenever an attack dice inflicts damage of 3 or more on a 5+, subtract 1 from the damage to make you guys a little bit more hardier. And Prioritise Acquisition. Select an objective marker. Whenever determining the control of it, treat the total IPL of friendly operatives as 1 higher than they were if at least 1 friendly operative contests the marker. So that's pretty handy. And then you've got your Firefight ploys. Use this ploy when you would activate a friendly Battleclade operative. Remove 1 rules effect that can or change that your opponent has applied to it. So basically, when you've got, like, we'll see in this book, we've got poison and stuff like that. You can remove stuff like that from them, which is pretty handy. And poison's nasty. We'll see that in a little bit. Remote access. Use this during a friendly Tech Priest's operative activation. Once during activation, you can use one of the following. The operative doesn't require a marker to be within control range to perform a mission action that it usually requires. Instead, the marker must be within 4 inches. So basically it means that you have to be right on top of it in order to do that. Or they don't require a hatchway's access point to be within control range to perform an operate hatch. So basically they remotely open doors, remotely interact with mission objectives. Pretty cool one. It means they don't really have to commit to kind of close as well. Autopheric Supplication. Use this Firefight ploy when an operative is shooting a friendly Tech Priest operative at the start of the roll attack dice step. Until the end of the sequence, ignore the piercing weapon rule. And the Servile Surrogacy. When a friendly Tech Priest operative is selected as a valid target of a shoot action or to fight against you with the fight action, select 1 Servitor, visible and within 3 inches. And basically that becomes the target instead, so sends forward cannon fodder. So that's pretty cool. Looking at the actual kill team rules themselves, Techno-Archaeologist is your leader, and a strategic gambit, you can immediately change the operative's order and or immediately perform a free Omniscanner fallback, place marker, pickup marker, reposition or mission action, which is pretty cool. Now that Omniscanner one that it mentions, select an enemy operative visible and within 8 inches. Whenever a friendly Battleclade operative is shooting against it, you get the ceaseless weapon rule. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, he looks pretty nice. 3 action points as well. Obviously he's a little bit fragile. You've got a 3+ save, but you've only got 9 wounds, and this is something that you've got all those kind of remote access things to keep your Techno-Archaeologist safe. The auto proxy servitor, basically, when a friendly operative is shooting an enemy operative visible to him, the friendly operative range weapons have the saturate weapon rule. And then gaze the Omnissiah, select 1 enemy operative visible to this operative until the end of the turning point. Whenever a friendly Battleclade operative is shooting that enemy unit, the weapons have the Seek Light weapon rule and the enemy operative cannot be obscured. The Breacher Servitor is really cool. So this guy basically punches holes in walls, and the way this works is you put a breach marker down and then anything within 1 inch of that marker counts as accessible. So that's pretty cool. So basically it punches a hole in the wall and you guys can walk through it, so that's handy. Your standard combat servitors, again with a range of weapons there mentioned earlier. Melter gun you can only take once, you can take 3 of the igniters, your flamer weapon, which is pretty cool. You've got your gun servitor, again similar story, they're your heavy weapon guys. You've got an arc rifle or a heavy bolter, and you've got a few different shooting options for the heavy bolters there as well. And then the Techno-Medic Servitor, he kind of, if someone's going to die, he can kind of pull them towards them and heal them a wound, and then he can also heal the wounds on people. It does call out that you can't do that on a model that you've just saved the life of, so you can't like grab somebody, put them on a wound and then heal them up. You have to use those on different targets, but still really handy for keeping your kill team kind of working. And then you've got your Underseer, and you can cause friendly operatives to do a free dash action, so for getting your guys around the board, and you can also transfer power without having to have the APL cost as well, so he's a really handy one as well to kind of get your gang going. So yeah, they're really fun. What's nice in all these Kill Team books as well, you do get a bit of a designer's commentary going through kind of what they do and how they operate. So if you are new to the game, that's always worth a read through, just to kind of pick up how they work and what they do, and kind of how to use them best in the game. So yeah, really like that one. We then got the Ravenous Kill Team. These are really, really cool. Again, you're not really limited in this box either. You can build all of the operatives. So you've got your prime, and then you can take 4 of the, basically the name different ones, or the warrior. You do get 5 in the box, so you can build all the different operatives, but you're going to be missing a warrior. You're probably going to want to take all the different operatives anyway, because they do some fun stuff. They have infiltration and seek and destroy. And these guys are fun. So their mechanic kind of is based around them tunnelling underground. So when you kind of set up your force, you can leave some of your Raveners off the board to come up later. You put down a tunnel marker, 0, and then each turning point you can put down another marker within 5 inches, I think it is. So yeah, and this will basically extend the tunnel out across the board, and then you've got these burrow rules, which means they can kind of come up on that tunnel, or if they're near the tunnel they can go down it, which is handy. They've got a lot of wounds, but they're quite fragile, so being able to kind of interact with that tunnel and go up and down and kind of get safe off the board, then pop up somewhere useful, is really, really cool. The tunnel basically is the point between the tokens, so the enemy knows where the tunnel is as well, but obviously, you know, you can be clever with that and put it near objectives and put it in places that's going to be quite kind of tricksy to get to. So really, really like them. Strategic ploys, death from below. Whenever a friendly Ravener is fighting, if it's performed the burrow action during activation, its melee attacks have the balanced weapon rule, and if it's on your tunnel, its melee weapons have the ceaseless weapon rule. So Whipcord Emergence, whenever an operative is shooting at a friendly Ravener, if the friendly operative performs the burrow action, you can reroll one of your defense dice, and if he's on a tunnel, you can reroll any of your defense dice. Ride out of sight, select a friendly Ravener. That friendly operative can perform a free burrow action. If it's within 2 inches of a tunnel, it can do a free fallback or reposition action before it does so you can pull back and go down it. Tunnel Lurkers, when a friendly Ravener operative is on your tunnel, it's in cover, unless it's within 2 inches of the active operative. Treat this as cover provided by light terrain, pretty cool. And then Firefight Ploys, Slithering Evasion, use it when a friendly Ravener's operative action. During the action or counter action, the operative can perform fallback for 1 less AP, perform the charge while within control range of an enemy operative, so that's pretty cool. So it basically can be in combat with someone and charge into a different target. Subterranean Horror, use a Firefight ploy when an enemy operative is performing the fight action and select a friendly Ravener on your tunnel. In the resolve action dice, you resolve the first attack dice. Burrowing Strike, use the Firefight ploy when a friendly Ravener operative performs the burrow action. Before the operative is removed from the kill zone or sitting up in your tunnel, inflict D3+1 damage on each enemy operative within its control range. That's pretty cool. Death Frenzy, use a Firefight when a friendly Ravener operative is incapacitated. Before it's removed from the kill zone, inflict D3 damage on each enemy operative within control range. If it's a Venom Spitter, you do 2d3 damage instead. So they're pretty fun. Onto the actual rules of these guys. Again, they've got 21 wounds each, but they've only got a 5+ save, so they are quite fragile. So the Ravener Prime, whenever determine control of a marker, treat the APL of enemy operatives as 1 lower, which is pretty handy. Now, it isn't a change to the LPL, it's cumulative with the other abilities, and on top of that, it's got a rule here. Your opponent must spend 1 additional AP to do pickup markers, so a lot of interaction with reducing the APL of enemy models, which is handy. The Fell Talon is a nice one, so this has the poison rule, and basically it can give enemy operatives a poison marker, and that marker, when the person with the poison marker activates, they take D3 damage, so that's pretty cool if you can keep putting that poison on them. And then Toxic Lunge, select an enemy operative within 2 inches of the operative, or if it's underground, select an enemy operative on a tunnel, and it does D3+2 damage and gives them a poison token. So lots of nice kind of damage over time with them. The Terracide is quite cool. He's all about kind of coming out of tunnels and doing damage. So once per turning point, after an enemy specialist performs an action in which it's more than 2 inches within a tunnel. If the operative is underground, he can basically pop up and attack, which is pretty cool. You can also charge after burrowing as well, so basically this guy will come up on the tunnels and take people out as your enemy kind of moves across them. The Ravener Venom Spit is kind of a ranged poison operative, so it's the same poison rule as the Feltalon, but it's got a ranged attack on it. And until the operative is shot with its Venom Bolt, until it performs a burrow action, all profiles of Venom Bolt have the lethal 5+ weapon, which is pretty nice. Ravener Warrior, your standard guy. When it's shooting against, fighting against, or retaliating against a wounded enemy, or an enemy that had performed a fallback, it gets lethal 5+. And then finally, we've got the Ravener Wrecker. This is the big kind of crushing claw one. Whenever you strike and your opponent roll off, adding 1 to your result. If this operative is being used, has a wound stat of 9 or less. If you win, inflict additional damage on that operative equal to the difference between the dice results. So that's pretty cool as well. So big claw kind of monster. So yeah, 2 different fun looking kill teams there, working in quite different ways. Obviously you've got the APL sharing of the Servitors, which is going to be quite a tactical one to play. And then you've got these guys who have a lot of wounds and very dangerous, but they are quite fragile in the low save kind of stat. And it's worth pointing out as well, these guys can do multiple fight actions as well. So where you've got ones with high APL, you know, they're able to get in and cause quite a lot of damage if they're in combat with things. So that's pretty cool. Now, one of the coolest things with this expansion is the new joint ops missions. So we did have a little bit of this in the core box for this edition of Kill Team, and this expands it further with a full kind of branching campaign where you're playing against the game. So basically you'll always do what's worst for you. You know, you're just cheating yourself if you try and kind of cheese out of it. But, you know, if an enemy needs to attack you or get in a favourable position to do so, if it's not close enough, it might be better for it to get into cover and let you get closer. So you are really playing yourself. What is fun with this, you can play it with 2 players cooperatively. You'll either split a single kill team or take half a kill team each. And equally, a human can control all the Tyranids as well. They'll follow the same rules and everything. And there's no kind of like gambits and stuff that they've got. Instead, the deck of cards that comes in the box, the Tyranid player, or you know, you'll draw for the Tyranids, one of those cards, and they'll do different things that affect the kill zone. Some of them might cause like Raveners and stuff to appear. In the box you get a load of Hormigants, and they're going to be the primary kind of antagonists that you're fighting. But what is cool is that if you've got a Tyranid collection, and in particular the combat patrol box, there is a chart here to randomly generate what does get generated during the game. Obviously you can just pick, or you could just use the models in the box and just use the Hormigants and the Raveners. But I quite like this if you have got a combat patrol, or you've got the old starter box. You know, you can roll up that stuff and have a bit more varied encounter, and you do get data cards for all of those profiles as well, which is really, really cool. The game kind of explains kind of what creatures will be doing when they're stacked in, but really the thing to just bear in mind is do whatever be worst for you, the player. So if you know if that you're really important guy getting killed, and it's possible for the Tyranids to do that, then do that. If the Tyranids are better, maybe slipping back so they don't get shot, that is what they'll do too. So that's quite good. You can adjust the difficulty by increasing or reducing the number of Tyranids that are out there, and you can even make up your own profiles as well. You know, this is very free form, but it does give you that structure in order to do these joint ops games, which is really, really fun. I really like that as a concept. So yeah, you get the profiles for all the stuff, and obviously in the box you do get the Hormigants, the Ripper Swarm and the Raveners, but it does have the stats for the rest of the models in the combat patrol as well if you have got an existing Tyranid collection, which is a really nice touch. And as ever, you'll get the kind of the map layout and then all the missions as well. So like I say, this will work like a normal Kill Team game where you'll do your turn and then the Tyranids will do theirs, following those routines. They'll draw the card to see if anything happens, And yeah, it's very much like playing a game of Kill Team against yourself, which is really, really fun. And again, with the added fun if you can play with a friend or have somebody controlling the Tyranids as well. So we do get 6 of these missions, which I think is a nice assortment in this book, because yeah, I really like that they've put out a kind of single player Kill Team box. I think that's a really, really cool concept. But what you also get in here as well are some adversary ops. So these are kind of standard mission based kind of you know, max play kind of missions. You're fighting against somebody else, but you've got the added kind of complexity of having some kind of MPO Tyranids in there as well. They will still draw from the deck of cards to see if any funky stuff happens, but essentially you're fighting on 2 fronts then, because on your activation you'll do what's worse for you, but you're still fighting the enemy as well, so you've got Tyranids in there too. So yeah, nice little fun twist, especially if you've got all this the Tyranid scenery in here as well. So yeah, really, really nice. So before we close out the video though, we will have a look at the contents of the box painted up. So yeah, I've been beavering away on the contents of the box. I'm going to say this is a really good value box, £100, and you get the 2 Kill Teams and a load of scenery, and all the kind of Tyranid MPOs as well. Yeah, really like this one. So if we look at the Mechanicus first, obviously some of these are, this guy's a returning model. I think he was in Blackstone Fortress first maybe. He's your leader. But the new guys are very, very nice. So we've got the Underseer, suitably weird. I'm sure a lot of these models could be repurposed. I suspect they'll get rules in 40k as well to take with your Mechanicus. But very, very nice models. I really like the new Servitors. They've kind of got a bit of a Borg look to them. So yeah, really, really fun. Enjoyed working on these guys. If we grab the Heavy Bolter guy, again, really nice detail on these. And these were quite quick to paint up as well. This is quite a quick scheme. Just sprayed them in a lot of contrast and base colours and dry brushing to get these kind of to where they are. But nice little force to use. Really predominantly want to do them so I can play the single player campaign as well, which is something I'm going to be doing once I've filmed this video. Hopefully we'll have a video of it up on the site as well, where me and Dave will kind of play through this campaign against the Tyranids and see how we get on. I don't know if we'll both use this split, or I suspect Dave might want to use his Ecclesiarchy kind of warband as well. But yeah, very, very nice models. Really impressed with these guys, and again I'm sure they'll have some use in 40k. So on the other side of the box we've got the Raveners. I want to go something a bit more grim dark compared to usual, so very, let's see if we can improve the lighting a little bit. They are very kind of dark looking Tyranids, but I think they work for the box here. So yeah, lots of browns and greys and kind of grim dark style there, because yeah, I thought it kind of suited the vibe of the models with these guys slinking underground. I'd be very tempted to do a full force in this colour scheme. I've got a lot of Tyranid models from a long time ago that I've not built or painted, so I might have to kind of get this scheme out and do it, because I think it works quite well for a more quote marks realistic bug-like Tyranids. So yeah, and then I'm not sure all these, but also you get the Hormigants in there too, which are nice. And then the scenery is a real kind of star of the show in my opinion. So I know a lot of people have wanted like Tyranid spore chimneys and stuff, and we finally get them in this set. So hopefully they'll sell this sprue separately. So we've got some nice scatter terrain for games of Warhammer 40,000. And again, just contrast and dry brushing really gets these on the battlefield really, really quickly. This piece here can be removed from that. So yeah, I think maybe a couple of bigger pieces, and some of that, you'd have a really, really nice kind of Tyranid themed board. So yeah, really, really impressed with that. So yeah, that is our look at Kill Team Typhon. Really, really nice set. This is probably my favourite one that they've done in this edition of Kill Team. Probably more so than the starter box as well, with the the Aquilians and the Vespidim, and that was a very nice box. I mean, all the boxes have been cracking for this edition of Kill Team, but I mean, as a Mechanicum and a Tyranid fan, obviously this one had my name all over it, so yeah, really, really impressed with this one. So we do have a full write-up of the book over on spruesandbrews.com as well, so you'll know a bit more about how the joint ops works, how the kill teams work. That's all going to be up on the site, so head over there if you're interested in that. If you have enjoyed the video, why not give us a follow, share with your friends, give us a like, and tell us kind of what kill teams you're collecting, what you're looking forward to. What kill teams would you like to see in this edition? Now, one of the nice things they've done in this edition of Kill Team is that we haven't seen any upgrade sprues. It's just been kind of bespoke kits for all of those kill teams, and it gives them room to do some really kind of unusual stuff as well. So are there any kind of like out there kill teams that you'd like to see, any dream kill teams that you'd like to see? Let us know. If you would like to support the site as well, we do have an affiliate link to Element Games in the description. Anything you get through that link, we get a bit of a kickback, which goes towards helping run the site as well. Hopefully this box stays in stock for a while, but I know the Kill Team stuff does tend to move really, really quickly because it is super popular, and I think this is going to be a popular one as well. And as ever, massive thanks to Games Workshop for sending us these over to look at a little bit early ahead of time. But yeah, until next time, have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.